Well, everyone, thank you very much for joining today. My name is Dan Bowers. I'm with CMS Communications. A lot of you may already know us. So today we are co-hosting a webinar with Ooma. Ooma is one of our top providers, and I want to explain just for a couple minutes about who CMS is, and then I'll turn it over to the Ooma team. So CMS Communications is a technology advisory firm. We help you identify costs, eliminate certain costs, increase productivity, and consolidate technology through our discovery process. And we partner with only the most prestigious, if you will, or best in business out there providers like Ooma. So today we're hosting a webinar on how Ooma can help you guys with your technology consolidation, productivity, and even as far as I've seen throughout these many years, a lot of cost elimination. And it's a solid technology platform that we wanted to share with you guys. And at the end, we're going to show you how you can actually start the process if you're interested in moving forward. So today, we're going to hear first from Randy Myers. He's our channel manager, and he's going to give a little introduction about who Ooma is. And then we're going to move on from there to Aaron Shaw. Randy?
Thank you, Dan. Appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for taking time out of your busy holiday season and workday to join us today. We're really looking forward to presenting our solutions to you. Thank you to Dan and CMS Communications. I am the regional channel manager that supports them for Ooma. I'm out of Dallas. Obviously, they're out of Missouri, but I have a multi-state territory, and CMS is my #1 partner. We certainly appreciate all their efforts to include us in opportunities like this. And again, we look forward to sharing our solutions with you. Ooma is a hosted voice-based company. Been around since '04. Went public in 2014. We're very voice centric. We're going to be talking about our Ooma Office UCaaS solution, which Aaron Shaw will be taking over for me as soon as I get this wrapped up. And I'll be sharing that with you. And then I'll return for a few minutes to talk about our AirDial POTS replacement solution, which is something that is one of our main offerings, and something that CMS has worked with us and sold many solutions for, anywhere from school districts to government entities to large corporations, and all the way down to one-line opportunities for small offices. And look forward to sharing with you a little bit about that. But I will wrap up, and we're going to concentrate again on our Ooma Office UCaaS solution. Aaron Shaw is our director of sales, and she will be handling that presentation for us today. So I again appreciate the opportunity to be on this today. And Aaron, why don't you take it away and run us through the Ooma Office?
Awesome. Thank you, Randy. And thank you, Dan, for having us on today. I'm excited to go through Ooma Office and share a little bit more about how it could potentially help your business. So what we're going to do today, I'm going to share a deck. I promise we won't do death by PowerPoint today, but I'm going to give you a nice little quick overview of Ooma Office. We'll go in and we'll jump into our portal just to give you a little taste of how it works and just how simplistic it is. After that, like Randy said, we'll pass it over. He'll talk a little bit about AirDial, and then we will open it up for questions. So as I'm going through this, if you guys have questions, just so you don't lose them, if they're top of mind, throw them in the chat, and then we'll make sure that we address those when we get to the question and answer portion. So let me go ahead and share my screen. All right, perfect. So here's our quick agenda. So did it get really small on you, Dan? Does it look okay?
I can see it. A little bigger might help, but there you go. All right.
That's easily solved. Apparently I turned on closed captioning, which I guess we don't need today, but apparently that's an option. All right, so here's our agenda, right? We're going to talk a little bit about Ooma, the company, which Randy just gave a little bit of a high level, talk a little bit more. Why specifically do small to mid-sized businesses choose our Ooma Office solution? Talk about really what makes it special. Go through that features and pricing, and then, like I said, we'll wrap with doing a quick little demo of really how that portal works. All right, so as Randy said, we've been in business for about 20 years now, founded in 2004. We have over 2 million plus total users utilizing Ooma Office. And then we've also been ranked #1 PC Mag. And actually, I need to change this. I just noticed there's an error in here. It's actually been the last 11 years running. So for 11 years, we've won this award through PC Mag. And the reason this award is so special to us is it's actually PC Magazine doing a third-party survey asking our customers if they like Ooma and them saying yes. So it's a really great one for us. And like I said, 11 years running, we have won that one. And as Randy mentioned, we went public in 2015, and we are publicly listed, so you can find us on the New York Stock Exchange. Pretty easy to remember because it's just OOMA. All right, so just some of the common challenges we hear when customers are coming to us that we're just very easy to solve. You can see listed here, and I'm not going to go through every single one of these. Like I said, I promised you I wouldn't do death by PowerPoint, so we won't do that today. But really, just people are looking for, how do I use my phone and how do I make it easy? And that's something that Ooma does really, really well, right? So, you don't have to be a technical person. You don't have to understand telecom jargon to be able to set up the Ooma system. You guys are going to see that even more when I jump into the demo. The other thing we're hearing is, it's specifically when we're talking about some of our smaller customers. So customers that, maybe even have one phone all the way up to maybe 10 phones. A lot of times they're saying to us, hey, the phone system that I have today, really my iPhone can do more than it can do, right? And that can't be, right? You need to have a business phone system that's going to really enhance the way that you do business. But with that, really making sure that we're meeting you and making it so it's not so complicated, right? We want to make sure, back to this whole concept of easy, that, we give you these additional features and functionality so you can really get more out of your business, that it's still something that's easy to use, that you're used to using and is just really friendly. The other thing you'll see on here is support. This is another thing we hear quite frequently from customers that are coming to us, that, the care that they're using today, whether it's, that local cable provider or one of the big providers that you've seen out in the marketplace that also do UCaaS, they have trouble getting in touch with them, right? So sometimes we're hearing, hey, I can only chat into that support team. I have no way to call into them. With Ooma, we try to make it so that you guys can get us when you need us, right? So we have options to chat if people prefer that, but you can also call us if there's any kind of change that needs to be made or any kind of issue that needs to be addressed. All right, so as you can see here, it's really all about making sure that we're offering you guys the best phone system for your business. So the first thing is we purpose-built our phone system for this small to mid-sized business. The reason I think that's so special is a lot of our competition built their phone system really with the enterprise in mind. And the reason that's important is when you build a system for an enterprise in mind, they typically have an IT team, right? So they have somebody on staff that understands telecom jargon, they understand that IT jargon, whereas we built ours for SMB. And so because we did so, everything is very, very user-friendly. It's very easy to set up. It's very, very easy to make changes, which is important, right? So I myself, I've been in telecom for 20 years, and I was shocked when I came to Ooma about 5 years ago at just how simple and easy it was to use. So like I said, we'll look at that in a second when we get into the portal. The other thing is it's very easy to set up. So, with Ooma, when you come on board, you have a onboarding specialist that'll help you get set up and make sure your system is ready to use just the way you want it to be. But there's fun things in our portal, like a little setup widget that'll actually help you do it on your own. So if you're a do-it-yourself and you're somebody that wants to get in there and play around with the system and set it up and make changes yourself, it's very, very easy to do so. And as I mentioned, making sure that our customers can easily get in touch with us. That's a huge differentiator for us. We don't try to hide. We make it easy to find us, right? It's very easy to call us. It's very easy to chat with us if you ever need to make any kind of changes to the system. And the best part about it is we give you all these tools. We give you tons of great features that are really going to help impact your business. And we do that at a price point that's not going to break the bank. So just a few highlights about the system is, once again, we like to make it. We know people nowadays are working from everywhere, right? I know I'm sitting here and just north of Dallas, Texas. So Randy and I are actually not too far from each other. So sitting here in Dallas, Texas, working from my home office. But I travel quite frequently, right? So it's nice with our system. You can really choose your flavor of how you want to consume our service, right? So what I mean by that is we do offer standard desktop handsets. So if you want to be able to use a handset, pick it up, make a call, you can. You can do it from your desktop applications. We have a nice desktop application that we do many integrations with. So we do integrations with your big ones like Salesforce or Microsoft Dynamics, all the way to things that are very specialized like Jobber or Clio in the legal space, or NextHealth in the dental space. So we have some very customized ones, and we'll look at that a little bit more when we get into the demo piece. And then we also have our mobile application. So you can make and take calls right from your mobile phone as if you were in the office. So the reason I bring that up is you never have to say where you're located. You're always going to look like you're a part of that phone system. And you can very easily make and take those calls. And then we're really focusing now on trying to figure out how we can help our customers have tools that are really going to help their business be more efficient, right? We've heard a lot of people are, we're doing more with less, right? So giving customers really features to help them be able to work in the way they want to. So we have hot desking, right? So if you have a big office where people come and go, you can have phones out there that they can, log in, log out, make and take calls from that device. Another really awesome feature we have is shift to text. So shift to text, what that does is it allows customers when calling into your business to actually self-service, right? So you can shift from having a phone conversation right into a text conversation through the virtual receptionist. And like I said, we will look at that. So it'll make a lot more sense when I pop into it. But the cool thing about it is it's got so many different applications. We've seen it across many different verticals, all the way from, just a restaurant that says, hey, people are always calling in and saying, I'd like to make a reservation. And now they can say for reservations, press 2, and it sends them a text to like their Resi link, for example. It's also being used in like the medical space, right? So if it's like, hey, you want to book an appointment, or you have an online portal where people can go and submit documentation, or, hey, you got to get that health history in before you come into our clinic. They can actually say, hey, if you're calling for information about how to access our portal, press 2. And once again, it can just shift and give them that link straight to access that portal. So there's many different applications and how that can really help the business. And then the last thing you see on here is call queuing. So as a part of our Pro Plus tier, we have, I'll call it a call center light functionality, where we're giving some basic call queuing, some different analytics around that. So if you want to have people call in, wait in line to speak to the next person, whether that's somebody, scheduling appointments back to that doctor's office, or if it's, hey, thinking about the restaurants, right? You want them to wait in line to place a to-go order, right? So there's many different verticals that can take advantage of that and really, really help your business be more efficient and more effective.
Not to interrupt you, Aaron, but I have to be honest, this webinar is also for me, because that shift to text was something I had heard about, but I didn't know that was fully available, and that is amazing. So that's got a lot of different use case applications. So I'm learning something new myself. That was great.
Awesome. Yeah, and that's one that I'm like touting a lot lately, just because I think it's such a powerful tool. And once again, just stops your staff from having to answer the same questions over and over again, right? Like, let's just shift them. Let's get them to self-service. They're getting taken care of. They're getting a good customer experience, and your staff is getting to do their job.
Here's the same questions we get all the time. You know what? Shift to text. Let's take care of that so that we can be more productive. I love that.
Exactly. And then the other thing is, hey, if you guys get started with us, it's easy. It's so easy. So our system, like I said, it's simple to use, which I am going to show you in the demo. I promise. I keep teasing that. And I promise you we will look at it and you'll be amazed at how simple it is to use. But the nice thing, like I said, with Ooma is we're there to help you, right? So we're going to have that onboarding person walk you through this process, make sure you're set up on our system. We ship out the hardware, we pre-provision it. All you have to do is unbox it. So if you know how to plug in a power cord, you're good to go, right? Like that is really all you need to do. Really, really easy to do. But we're always here to support you 24/7, 365.
And just to chime in here as well, when you go through CMS Communications, you also get our teams as a additional layer of that support and implementation. We're on all of those calls with you guys, ensuring that everything is there. And if you have additional needs, like let's say a headset or something like that that you need, that's where we come in as well. So yeah, it's a multi-tiered support and implementation system, and I love doing it.
So what I hear you say, Dan, is between the two of us, there will no balls be dropped, right? Like everything will be taken care of.
Well, I'll say that, but you know, there's always, but yes, we do our best.
Exactly. All right, and just here's a quick highlight just of our 3 different tiers. So really we're to help you match the one that really suits your business needs. On here you can see we have the essentials, which is very, very basic. We have Pro and we have Pro Plus. Pro, I'd say, is typically our most popular. Although I feel like Pro Plus is kind of edging in there now with some of these like shift to text things and stuff like that. Really people are starting to pop into that tier a little bit more. This is just MSRP, so nobody gets sticker shock here, just MSRP. We can obviously work together to make sure we're getting a solution that fits your needs as well as fits your budget. And like I said, last but not least, we've won this award 11 years in a row. PC Mag, love this one. And this is literally our customers saying, yes, we do like Ooma. They've done a great job for our business and they take really good care of us. All right, now without further ado, I will pop over into the demo piece. So let's end this show so I can get there. All right, so I went ahead and I popped into our portal. So this is the portal. This is where you're going to come in. This is where you can configure the system. This is where you can make changes to the system. Like I said, no one have a panic attack. If you did decide to come with Ooma, we would help you with this. Dan would help you with this, right? So don't worry. But like I said, it is really, really simple. There's a few things in here I just want to highlight. There's a couple different options across the top. So there's 4 tabs. This is where all your different configurations are going to be. There's the dashboard, the settings, the account. There is a store tab. So, you know, let's say you came on board with us and then you needed to purchase hardware. You could come into the store, but I'm pretty sure Dan at CMS would be your great resource to go in there to get any kind of hardware or anything like that. Like Dan said, if you need a headset, not that you can't buy it through us, but I bet you Dan gets you a better price. So I'd buy it through Dan.
Anything hardware related, IT hardware, peripherals, headsets, anything like that, even intercom and paging systems, we can do that for you guys as well in conjunction with the Ooma team. So, yes.
So the other thing you'll see down here is this is actually a live chat. So I actually love this feature. Once again, we do have an 800 number. You can call us for support if you become a customer. But if you prefer chat, like I know sometimes I'm just busy and it's like, hey, I just want to make a little tweak. I don't want to break my system. Can you help me? I'll multitask, right? So I can type into the chat. It is not a bot. It's a live person. So it's a live rep that's going to respond back to you and help you with that need. So I love this one. This one's new and it's been out for, I don't know, maybe, should I say new, but I think it's been 2 years. So I guess new-ish. Very, very responsive. Like this is legitimately the way I typically send most of my stuff. So this account that we're looking at here is actually a live account. So this is the live account that I have my sales team in. So everything we're going to see in here is actually live information with analytics and such, which is what I like. Because there's a few things in here that they love / hate that I pop in and pull all the time. So the first thing I'm going to click into is our dashboard. So our dashboard gives you a quick little snapshot, a quick little overview. So I can see how many calls have been made today. I have some quick access, so I could make a call. Once again, this is just controlling my phone. So if I wanted to make a call, I can send a fax, do some different things right through here. But the page I really like is the analytics page. So it just gives me a quick little snapshot into, you know, call volume trends, right? So I can see over the last 7 days, and once again, that you can change this. So I can look at different timeframes if I want to. I can even customize it and pick certain days if I need to. It'll show me the incoming calls, outgoing calls, how many internal calls, and I can get a quick understanding of, like, you know, for incoming, how many are they getting, right? So are we answering a decent amount of them? Are they ending up in voicemail? What's happening? You can look at it by hour of the day. This is really helpful if you're a busy business and you're like, hey, well, you know, it feels like I'm really busy for these hours. I need to staff an extra person. This can actually give you that that quick visibility into like, hey, when are you getting most of your calls? As well as day of the week, right? So you can see what day of the week you're getting the most calls, making the most calls, and then the call distribution. So just a nice little snapshot. You can pull the data from this as well in our call logs, and I'll show you that. My favorite piece of the analytics is the call leaderboard. So once again, as I mentioned, I'm running a sales team, sales organization. So it's important to know how many calls that they are making. So I come in here all the time, and you can see Margie is my rock star at the top of my board.
Like she's winning. Yeah.
Yeah, so she's constantly making calls. She's a newer rep, so she's trying to build up her book of business, as you can tell, and she's driving that really hard. So you can see how many calls she's making over the last 7 days, how many connected. So once again, just a nice, quick little snapshot of what's happening. So I don't have to dig into the call logs. I can just get that quick little look at, who's doing what. In your call logs, so one setting you can set up on our system is you can set it up to record calls. You can set it up to record every single call. You can do ad hoc. Anybody that's in a state where you have to let them know that the call is being recorded, it can announce that. So they'll know coming into the system that call is being recorded. So I record my calls, once again, training my sales team. I want to make sure that they're saying the appropriate things, handling customer questions appropriately. So in here, I can listen to the call, I can download it. You can bulk download these, very, very simple. So that's a quick little snapshot. I'm not going to go into everything. I guess the last thing that I will click before I leave here is the call queuing. I don't have a queue live, which is why it's not showing anything in here. But in our call queues, we have a queue dashboard, which is just that quick snapshot of how many calls are coming into your queue, what people are waiting, what's your average wait time. So a nice little quick overview of what's going on. We can obviously pull reports out of that. And once again, we give you that quick little snapshot, kind of like that leaderboard. So you can see, call count, how many were taken, how many abandoned, how many people timed out, that type of thing. All right, now I will actually click to settings. So settings in here, and the first one you see is extensions. That's everything that's on the system. So this is not only your users, but things like your hunt groups, your ring groups, your virtual receptionist. Virtual receptionist is similar to auto attendant, if you've heard that term before. So if I want to come in here and make changes to that auto attendant, it's really, really simple. All I have to do is click this gear. I can name it, so I can have multiple receptionists. You can set up a schedule, so I can have it do different things during hours, after hours, on the weekends. You can set up a pre-holiday one. So, like when Christmas rolls around, you can just turn that on, or New Year's Day, right? Just pop and turn that on, and it handles calls appropriately. So I'm going to go in here, really, really simple. Like I said, we can edit the schedule, so you can add different ones. You can have up to 6 different schedules. So if you want to have like a morning schedule, a lunch schedule, an afternoon schedule, a night schedule, a weekend schedule, it can support all that. So you can actually have all that pre-programmed, and it'll automatically do things. And this virtual receptionist, it can go straight into the auto attendant, or it's not where it's asking people, for hours and location, press 1. To speak to someone in sales, press 2. To get that link to our portal, press 3. That does that shift to text. Or it can go, and you can point it to a live person, right? So you could have it sent to your receptionist, as an example, or your office manager to live answer that call. So it's very, very easy to change. So I'm going to show you how to edit that call handling. So for mine, I'm saying during business hours, I am sending it into this menu. But if you didn't want to, like I said, you could send it to a particular extension. And when we say extension in our world, it could mean a single person, or it could mean the extension that points to that group of people. So it could be like a ring group, right? So if you have, let's say you're a doctor's office and you have that front desk staff, and there's about 4 people that are answering those calls, you could set it so that it rings to all 4 people, and whoever obviously picks it up gets the call. All right, so in here, very easy to make changes to this. You literally can type in here and make a change. And we do support both text to speech as well as audio files. So if you want it in your own voice, you can record it and then you can upload it. Or we can do the text to speech, and you can choose, do you want it to be a female voice, a male voice? Do you like a US accent? Would you prefer a British accent? So you can play around with that and pick the voice that you like. The key to this, I always tell people, is if I say, to ring me directly, press 1. Make sure you go in here on number 1 and make sure it's actually transferring to where you want it to go, right? So,
Love that it actually has the buttons as well for each one so that you can say, okay, 1 is this, 2 is this, 3 is this.
correct. Exactly. Very, very easy to make changes. Very, very easy to make changes. And like I said, if you came aboard, we'd initially set this up for you. And then if you need to make any changes after the fact, it's just very, very easy to make that change. And you can see here, we have number 2 to send a link to book a meeting with me. So if we press 2, it actually sends a text message, right? So it sends a text message to a bookings page. So we do, by the way, that's another service that's included. If you're not using a bookings today, Ooma comes in our top tier, our Pro Plus tier actually comes with a bookings. So you can actually have that to be able to make those appointments. But it's pretty nice. It sends that text message. And then we also, once again, we want to let the customer know that they got the text message or they didn't, right? So when they press 2 to get the link, if our system can see that that text was able to be sent, they'll hear a recording that says, you've just been, or you just received the link. But if they happen to pick us up and call us from like a landline that does not accept text messages, they would get a message that said, unfortunately, it wasn't delivered. So once again, you can change that. And if I click into it, so if I click it, you can type what you want it to say, right? So you could say, unfortunately, the number you're calling into in from is unable to receive text. And then you could maybe speak out the link if you wanted to, go to resi.com to make a reservation at our restaurant or whatever it may be if it's not complicated. So very, very easy to use. All right, I will leave that. And then the next is a user. So if you need to add users, it's as simple as clicking adding a user. You can set it right up. And then if after it's been created, this is what it's going to look like, right? It's going to say the name, the number, the location it's associated with. So if you have multiple locations in your business, you can associate them with the right location. Very important for things like E911, right? If someone dials 911, you want to make sure emergency services come to help them where they're at and not at the wrong place. You can see all the numbers that are associated with it, and I can choose my outbound caller ID, right? So do you want it to show my direct dial? Do I want it to show the main number? So you can choose that. You can see everything that's on the system. So if they're using a mobile app, an IP phone, a desktop app, voicemail, can have a greeting, you can have a default one, they can upload a new one, or you can do text to speech. The reason I brought this up is that voice, if you pick, let's say, the male British voice, you can literally have that voice across the system everywhere. So it can be in your virtual receptionist, in your voicemails, everywhere they go. It's a seamless and it's nice, right? So it's all the same. And then the last thing is features, right? So if you want to record the calls or not, if this person needs a virtual fax. So all of our users include a virtual fax. If they need to take advantage of that, they can, at no additional cost. It's part of the user. So you can choose to record all calls or not. So the reason I point this out is sometimes people think if I turn on recording of calls, it turns it on for everybody. It doesn't have to, right? So you don't have to record the CEO's calls, maybe only the calls that are coming into like the sales or the support team. All right, and then the next tab I wanted to show you guys is the system tab. This is where you can set up a lot of different features within the system. So with things like changing your hold music could be done through here. Turning on auto dialer. So if you want to be able to put in numbers and have our system automatically dial it. So if you have a sales team and you want to dial out a lot of people, right? You can dump the numbers in and our desktop app will just start dialing through those numbers for your reps, which my reps actually use that. Marjorie does that. That's why her call count is so high because it automatically makes that dial. She can disposition it within our system. Really, really nice.
Now, Erin, if you don't mind, the auto dialer is a lot of times featured in kind of like a contact center or a light contact center. Are you saying that this is part of the traditional license or?
Part of Pro Plus. Yep.
Okay.
You don't have to have it. That's where I said it. I call it a call center light, right? Because it's got a lot of call center features built right into it. We do obviously have an SMB call center if somebody needs that as well, but just in our traditional tiers, you're getting a lot of this functionality. And then let's see, last but not least is messaging. So we do support text messaging. So for those businesses that can take advantage of it, there are a few that are excluded due to the campaign registry. A lot of those laws have been changing recently, but if you're a business that can take advantage of texting, we can turn that on. You can even build different templates that your staff can use, right? So if there's a message that you're constantly sending out, you can build that template so they can just click it, just do their job that much more easily and efficiently. And then last but not least, before I pass it back over to Randy to talk about AirDial, just quickly just seeing some of our integrations, right? So if these are any of the tools that your business is using today, you can actually turn it on, and through Pro Plus, we can do things like click to dial, we can pull the record. A lot of them even allow you to put in notes. So if you're talking to somebody, you need to put notes in about that customer and save it right into that account, you can do that. So just a quick highlight of a bunch of them that we work with. All right, Randy, I think I have your slide, so I'm going to go ahead and click into your slide for you and let you just tell them a little bit about AirDial.
All righty. Thank you. Appreciate that, Aaron. Well, we're just going to cover this for a couple of minutes today. Really, our focus today was what Aaron just went with you was our Ooma Office UCaaS, or hosted voice over IP solution. But one of our marquee solutions is our Ooma AirDial POTS replacement solution. If you have not started looking into this with your organization, something we highly recommend that you do. All of the major tier 1 providers from AT&T, Verizon, Frontier, Windstream, pick your poison, as it were, that may be servicing you are getting out of the analog line business. The U.S. government a few years ago told them you can turn down your stuff as fast as you want to, and you can charge anybody as much as you want when you're going out the door, and we're not going to stop you. Some of you who may used to have analog POTS lines that were, $30, $40, $50 may see your bills have been going up to $100, $200, $300. I've personally seen bills over $1,000 a line. I've seen people building new facilities, and the local LEC or CLEC will not bring copper to the building. So we developed a few years ago, again, our Ooma AirDial POTS replacement solution. One of our big differentiators are you're dealing with a company that actually designed and handles the manufacturing process of this device. There is no Chinese-made software or hardware in it. We manage the manufacturing process out of Vietnam. Most everything ships out of our distribution warehouse in California, close to our headquarters. It is a 4-port device, which means it'll handle up to 4 analog line replacements and or devices, as it were. Two of the main things you need to know about doing analog line replacement, especially for life safety, which is what this was originally designed for. What is life safety? It's E911 devices like elevators, fire panels, security panels, possibly blue light phones on a large campus. Anything that an emergency phone, anything that follows under calling on-site security or first responders is considered a life safety device. As we head into new technology, obviously, we just finished going over our UCaaS hosted voice over IP solution, one of the Ooma Office. A lot of people say, oh, well, if I've got to get off analog lines, I'm just going to go get an ATA and put it on a SIP trunk, or I'm going to put it on, an inexpensive UCaaS license with an ATA. Well, the problem with that is you can do that for non-emergency lines. You certainly can. But as far as being able to handle local, state, and national compliances for your fire codes and things like that, you cannot do that. And there's 2 main reasons why, which is what the AirDial has been designed to do. You have to have a minimum 8 hours of battery backup. And in some locations like New York and California, they're now requiring 24 hours or more for the device to stay up after it's lost power to the device and or the building. And much like with an analog line, the service itself has to be able to stay up for a minimum of 8 hours or more. to sustain inbound and outbound calls. How do we handle that with this device? We have a built-in battery backup that'll give you a bare minimum of 8 hours, normally 12 to 16 on a full charge, depending on how many calls are coming in and out of it. Or if you have a situation where the compliance requires 24 hours or more, we have developed a little adjunct battery pack that'll plug into the box and cover you on that. And we run, this is an LTE device that we ship with 2 SIM cards, one of the main, one of the backup, and will be covered by either AT&T, Verizon, or T-Mobile. And we will set that up based upon what your needs are in that local region. Again, that is what it was originally for, was life safety. It's very easy to install. We provide on-site installation. If you choose to not avail yourself of that, you certainly, if you have people on your staff, it's a basic RJ11 cross connect onto in the phone room to the 66 block. We basically take off the old analog POTS line and just punch the device down to where that was. And after it's shipped pre-programmed to do whatever it's supposed to do. So once we do some test calls, do some checking, basically the analog device just thinks it's still talking to an old POTS line. We again started out as a life safety devices supports the elevators, the fire panels, security panels, but with requests from customers. We've also started and programmed it that it will handle backup for on-site IP PBXs. You can set the lines up to hunt. Again, it will take up to 4 lines on the device. If you need to put multiple devices together, you can certainly do that. Gate phones, we recently designed and have available to us outside exterior boxes that can either be fan cooled or heated, to if you need to put it on a gate phone or something that's away from the main phone room. Blue light phones, obviously, boiler room alarms. We are lab tested. If you run into somebody that doesn't want to do an EFAX, we do have an EFAX solution. And I know that Dan and his team have many EFAX solutions for you, but you run into those medical offices and legal offices and some of the other ones that still want to keep the old analog fax machines. We are lab tested up to 200 pages for T38 fax signaling. Pretty much anything that you do with an analog line today, we can replace it with the Ooma AirDial. And again, it's important for you to know a lot of our competitors out there white label other people's products or just flat out, farm out any analog POTS line replacement to other companies. We design it, we built it, we wrote the software. You're dealing with the company that actually does the devices, produces the devices and supports them. Again, CMS has worked with us and incredibly has sold a lot of these devices. Dan and his team are very well versed in it. If you do have any analog line replacements or just have some questions, please do reach out to Dan and his team, and they'll certainly reach out to us and we can help out with that. Okay. Thank you. Appreciate it, Aaron.
Randy, thank you very much for that. And Aaron, thank you very much. I appreciate both of you. I think Randy is going to drop off, but Aaron and I are going to be here for the Q&A session. If there are any, you can put them in the chat. The one thing that I do want to say to everyone that is here today is that Ooma understands kind of the varying needs of our customer database and adapts to your needs. Not just shoving something like AI down your throat, right? We know that there are many different versions of telecom and phone systems and communication systems out there, and it's not just one product fits all. And concerning Ooma, there are the biggest thing for me is that there are multiple backups for your voice paths. So you can have a hard phone, you can have a soft phone, you can have a cell phone, and you can have analog copper lines that are translated to the cellular line, to the cellular signal. So you have multiple backups for your system, number one, but then you also have multiple support options. You've got Ooma Direct, you've got Aaron, you've got Randy, and then you've got CMS Communications as well. I'm on every single one of the implementation calls and install calls. I even act as a secondary support mechanism afterwards. So does Aaron and Randy. So we're here for you through the entire journey, not just, hey, let's get you signed up and here's now your install team. No, we're following with you through the entire cadence. Now, there are some additional things like the contact center light features. It can save you a ton of money. Instead of paying for a $100 contact center license, go with the Ooma Pro Plus. It actually has those contact center features in it, like the auto dial, the queue groups, the wall boards. Those are all part of this that are significantly less costly than going with a full-on contact center platform. And it can integrate with your Microsoft or your Google software programs. And it's a strong product that goes beyond just regular company, but they also have hospitality. They're E911 compliant. eFax is a major thing as well. So I just wanted to give you guys kind of an overview of everything that Aaron and Randy talked about, and to also let you know that we have a strong discovery process. So how you can actually contact us to begin the process is through our kind of discovery. So you can reach out to our website and submit a contact, on our contact us form, or you can email us at cloud@cmsc.com. Now, a lot of you probably got the email from one of the reps here at CMS Communications. You can respond back to the rep that you like to work with the most, and they'll put you guys in contact with me, and Aaron and I will get together to actually discuss everything with you. Our process is more along the lines of, hey, we're going to actually uncover, okay, what is your current infrastructure like today? What's your scope? When are you looking to move? How much are you guys paying? And what can we do to consolidate and eliminate certain costs and redundancies? It's more of an assessment to help you guys move forward in a more efficient and productive way. So we'll get on the phone with you, we'll talk with you, and then we'll, uniquely put together an Ooma plan that is going to be the right fit for you, not just here's one license and this is all you get. So that's why we're here today. And I wanted to share this with everyone so that you guys, all of our clientele, knew what was going on with Ooma and how we can actually help you guys along the way. So with that being said, if Aaron, we could leave this up right here, that would be great until we're done. One of the questions I see here is multiple air dials would be needed if a location had more than 4 analog numbers.
Yes, if it's more than 4 analog lines, then yes, you would need multiple devices.
And we've seen a lot of our clients having multiple locations and large buildings where, yeah, you might need a couple more of those, but it's a really simple install. It's a plug, punch, and a plug, and that's it.
Correct. Very simple.
Turn it on.
Thank you.
So we will be reaching out to you guys after this with a thank you. And as well, we'll be reaching out with a recording of this webinar so that you guys can see it on your own time. As well, we will be putting this on our YouTube page so that this can live forever and you can go back and reference it at any time. So we'll stay on for a little bit longer, for about maybe 5 more minutes for any additional questions that might come through. And if you guys have anything, please put it in the chat. I'll go off screen just so that you guys don't have to stare at my face anymore. But please put them in there and then we'll answer them as they come up. Thank you, everyone. And thank you, Aaron.
Welcome. Thanks for having me.
Actually, Aaron, I do have one question for you. There was I'll just go back on camera at this point. Why not? There was a section that says call blocking. Could you talk a little bit more about what type of numbers can be blocked? I get a ton of spam calls.
Yes. Who doesn't, right? And the do not call list doesn't seem to work very often. But yeah, so the call blocking piece, we actually work with a company called Nomo Robo that actually crowd surfs its information. So it's going to automatically block a good amount of those calls. So you won't even get them through to the system. But it also in there, in that call blocking section, you can add numbers into it, right? So if there's a number that's calling in and you want to add it to your block list, you can. So then obviously you can manage that. So, if you blocked them for a while and you want to unblock for some reason, you can. And you can determine what happens when they're blocked, right? So are they just ringing forever? Is it going straight to voicemail? What do you want to have happen when it calls in? So it's very, very easy to change, add numbers to it. But like I said, the really great thing is that service we have through Nomo Robo that actually does that crowd surfing. So it actually just natively blocks a lot of the traffic that's coming in that's spam.
Okay. Well, and what I'm hearing as well is if my annoying brother is calling me for Christmas ideas, I can block him and then unblock him later if really I need to, right?
You had a
So,
spam, you just don't want to hear from them for a while. Or maybe it's a sales rep. Not that we would ever be annoying, but let's say that we are, and you're like, hey, I don't want to talk to that person right now. I'll talk to them in the new year. You could block them and send them straight to voicemail until you're ready to unblock them. So there's
there
lots
you
of
go. Oh, that's great. Okay. Is there a for that auto dial solution that you showed off? Is there a way how can you just like upload a CSV file or do you how does that work
It's as
again?
simple as uploading a CSV file. And I believe, and now you're making me check my memory, but I believe it's about a couple thousand that you can upload at a time. And it'll start dialing through them. I will say, my team, we've started doing a little bit less at a time because it's just such a large list. It's not like you can dial through that in a day. So they've started pulling in smaller lists that they can get through in about a day so that they can try it a few times before they replace and put a new list in. But it's really simple. Just upload that spreadsheet, it pops it in, and it literally just rolls through them, right? So it's making that call that if it connects, then the rep has the ability to talk to that person, leave a message, whatever, and then you can add your own disposition, so you can disposition it.
Okay. I'm seeing in my own head like a hospital or a medical facility that might have a billing and collections. Hey, we need to these people haven't paid their bills on this report. Let's upload this and just knock these out and let them know, hey, you owe us this, or hey, this is due, something like that.
Yep, and that would be the time where maybe it is 2000 and it's fine. Just pop them in. If it takes you a week to get through them, it takes you a week, right? Because you're calling through, you're leaving that voice message, you're speaking with people, and then once you've gone through it, you've hit everybody.
Okay. I see another question here. What is the cost of Ooma AirDial? Can the phone number be transferred from AT&T? And is there any extra cost for long distance? So let's start with what is the cost of Ooma AirDial?
Yeah, so it varies. So it varies whether or not you're doing a 1 year agreement, 3 year agreement. Obviously, the longer term, the better pricing you can get. But so
Because
anyway,
it is a service, right? Through a cellular service, right? So,
we're supporting. So it's anywhere from like 35, I think to $45. Randy is not here to correct me, but I believe that's where it's ranging in. And then, so that's the piece of how much it costs. Obviously, there's the box portion, so you can rent that box. You can purchase that box from us. Once again, whatever suits the customer's needs. As far as the number, yep, you can keep that number. So if you want to take that number and move it from who you're using today, so if it's AT&T and you want to bring it over to us, you can, not a problem. I have seen most of our customers seem to kind of leave that number behind because it is just a number that you're dialing out through like an elevator. No one really has that phone number. It's not a number you're publishing. So a lot of people are choosing not even to port it. And once again, personal preference, we can do either, whichever you prefer. And then as far as long distance, it's included. So unless you're starting to make international phone calls, which I don't know why you would do that for like an elevator or a fire alarm or a gate or anything like that, those calls are included.
and what I can say are two things here. Every single one of you, if you would like to speak with us about moving forward on some of this or even vetting it out, your current phone service provider contract terms, that is something that we will definitely want to ask you guys about if you have it. Simply because if you're in the middle of a 3-year contract, there's early termination fees that, let's say, AT&T will try to get out of you, which is the remainder of the contract up front to get out of the contract. So a lot of times this is placed on timing, right? Now, the other thing for you guys to remember is that the FCC has unregulated the analog lines. And that has made the AT&Ts, the Verizons, everyone shoot their prices up for those copper lines. And in some areas, I have seen them be $1,000 per line. It's usually around $200 to $500 per line per month. And that's what we've been seeing across the world because they're trying to force everybody to go straight on Cat5, Ethernet, fiber cable, and all of that. So, whereas some people are actually paying $200 to $500 per line, even if it's $100 per line, the Ooma AirDial product being $35 per line and having more than one line being able to plug in there and over the cellular signal, it's a pretty good deal. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, just to be clear though, it is per line. So so the AirDial box can support 4 lines. So it would be, let's say that 35 times 4 if you were using all 4. I just want to make sure we're clear on that so someone didn't think, hey, well, I'm paying 2,000 today, now I'm only going to pay 35. So let's be completely transparent. It is per line.
And long distance, this is included. It's part of the deal. There is no more separate charges for long distance or calling out of states or anything like that. This is a service that just provides anywhere in the United States. Now, yes, just like Aaron said, if you're going international, well, we got to talk about that.
Exactly. I would imagine that's if you're using it for faxing. I would imagine that would be the only time you might be doing that. Like I said, for the most other use cases, I don't see why you'd ever be making an international phone call.
Thank you, Roberto, for those questions, by the way. Does anyone else have any questions? If so, please get them in soon. We're going to be ending the webinar in just a little bit, so we'll be here for just another couple of minutes. One last thing, Aaron, I had a question on you is it was okay, so you have not a chat bot, but a live answer. That's someone behind that chat that is actually answering, a real person. So I can say, what's your favorite color? And they can say, well, it's kind of like a bluish, like a midnight blue, like it's real stuff, right? So that's great. Now, is there a possibility of, even if we're chatting, can we just get on the phone with them too, if we're getting into something deeper? Or is that a call in or?
That would be a call in at that point. And because typically, the reps that are handling chat, they want to stay focused, right? So they're staying focused on that chat to make sure that they can handle it. And honestly, I have never thrown anything at them that they haven't been able to handle. But if you were the type that want to start speaking with somebody, yeah, you could pick up the phone and call. And they are entering all those notes. Obviously, we have our own support ticketing systems. They're putting all that in on the back end. So let's say you chatted in yesterday about making some sort of change to your system. And let's say today in practice, you didn't like the way it worked, right? Which we've all done that, right? We've made a change to our system and said, hey, it sounded good in theory, but in practice, it's not really working out the way I wanted it to. So if you wanted to revert it back, let's say you decided to call in to do so, they could go into our support system. They could see exactly what you did with that rep the day before through that ticketing system. So they would be able to make that change back very, very easily.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much. Well, I think those are all the questions that I have. All the questions have stopped coming in through the chat. So I think that this was a great webinar, Aaron, and the rest of the Ooma team. Randy, I want to thank you very much for joining us today, going over your product, and we look forward to working with you much more in the future. And we hope you have a happy holidays as well.
Thank you so much. Thanks, everyone.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Happy holidays. Thanks for joining.